Hello, everybody, from the Garlet's High Performance Garage channel. As you know, I have a Facebook, um, just in my own name. I don't have it on the channel. It's not. I do promote it a little bit from there, but anyway, I've been seeing on there on Facebook. I'm a member of like the Pontiac Historical Society, and because my dad's GTO, and I'm on a bunch of them Chevelle sites on there, and people leave pictures and comments and all that stuff. And don't want you to get COVID. Anyway, there are a lot of questions on there from folks. I'm not sure if these are working folks or if they're just people that want to be popular. But they're asking, why are these damn Chevelles so expensive when people are selling them? Even the rust buckets. Well, it's obvious at this point. And I hate pointing fingers and blaming people and saying shit. But I'm just a working stiff. I've had my Chevelle for 25 years. And I got it back when nobody wanted them. Just nobody wanted these cars. So I got them back then. I had a yellow one back when I was 16. Me and my dad bought. It was dark green off a guy in PA. We bought it and fixed it up, painted it yellow. And I wanted to call it Bumblebee back then, before the big Bumblebee Transformer craze hit the theaters. This was back in 1993. And I wasn't quite 16 yet, but I think I was like 14. And I just couldn't wait to start driving. So me and my dad, we fixed this car up. He painted it. He was just going to use it to beat back and forth to work and run it on decent days in the wintertime. That was his plan. But I was going to get my license. I was looking for a car. I had my eyes on a 68 Chevy Nova. And they wanted $2,000 for it back then, which seems crazy now, because you can't get one for $2,000. I don't care if it's a fucking pile of garbage up on blocks with no fucking windows in it and big holes big enough to throw cats through it. You couldn't get one for $2,000 now. He said that was too much money. You opened the hood, the small block Chevy was in there. There's big ball grease, needed cleaned up. Needed a lot of work. And he's like, oh, you don't have a job. He says, you're not taking no loan out for $2,000 to buy a fucking car like that. So he thought about it a little bit, and he gave me that car because I helped him so much with it. Plus, I helped him paint it and all that stuff. And we drag raced it and had fun with it. And the body was really bad. We just kind of puttied it up. But anyhow, I sold the car, and then it ended up being inside of a garage. And the garage, somebody left a broomstick up against a furnace and caught the place on fire. And the car ultimately burned up. It's gone now. It's hard to say where it ended up. But anyhow, back to answer that question. I'm going to tell you right now, the reason these cars are up so high is because the rich man has drove the price up. Plus your friendly neighborhood Barrett-Jackson auction has drove the prices of these cars up. And I'm not saying that because, I'll express my opinion. I mean, if you think it's wrong, that's fine. I mean, that's what opinions are all about. But people on Facebook, they don't like opinions because they think that their opinion should be fact and yours doesn't matter. And they'll argue with you to the bone about anything. I don't care if it's, about why a turd has corn in it. It's a dumb fucking thing, but some asshole will argue with you to the bone about why that corn is in that turd and it shouldn't be there or whatever. But anyhow, this car I paid like $2,600 or no, $2,300. He wanted $2,600. I talked him down to $2,300. I was like, $2,300, I'll take it home. And I said, I got the money on me right now. He's like, okay. But these people, these rich assholes, they go on there and they buy these cars and they drive the prices up, because when you're a rich man and you're in the stock market heavy like they are today, because that's all our politicians care about is the stock market, and that's what they love. They love the stock market. There's nothing like stock market. As long as the stock market's up, the country's good, and that's not true. It takes two. It's like it takes two people to make a baby. It can't just be one. Somewhere along the line, there's got to be somebody there to donate some sperm. I don't care if you artificial inseminate or you fuck it into somebody. I don't care. There's got to be somebody else there to make the process happen. So these rich assholes, they go, for some reason, they have a big hard on for Chryslers. I guess because they were so cartoony. And they had all the cartoon characters and shit. Everybody was looking for a gimmick to sell these cars because insurance premiums were out of this world because of all the horsepower they had. And if you just said the word muscle car to insurance place, they don't want to insure you because, you're high risk. Because you're going to be street racing and wrecking your fucking car and hitting shit with it, hitting each other with them. But anyhow, they drove the price up for these cars because they are kind of like trendsetters. A few guys probably got together that had lots of money, rich people, and just thought, man, I sure would like to have a bunch of those old muscle cars from the 60s. So they started buying them up. Next thing you know, people that had these old cars, like places down south and places in like the out there in the Southwest where it's real dry, like Arizona and places like that, those cars are everywhere. Well, they used to be. I don't know if they are today or not. But there's a lot of old car junkyards out that way. Like when you see on Roadkill Garage, you always see Finnegan out there and Freiberger and that Dulcich digging through these junkyards and finding these cars and getting them running and driving them all over the place. But anyhow, these rich guys, they drove the price up for these because they set the trend for this stuff. You want it to because it's cool. It's the in thing to do. Not like guys like me. We've been in it. I've been into it since I've been driving. Before it was fucking popular. Before anybody liked it. Just us gearheads liked it. And we did it because we thought it was fun. And we'd like to make shit run. And like the old hot rodders from the 50s. But anyhow, they are after tax write-offs. See, Barrett Jackson, when you, or that other one, I forget what the other one's called. Meekum, whatever the fuck they're called. They do the same thing. There's a bunch of rich assholes sitting in the fucking audience. They're out there bidding on these cars. And like say somebody like, I don't know, like John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard had one of his General Lees up for sale. Well, then all of a sudden it was for a charity. And when rich people hear the word charity, their eyes just, oh, charity. Oh my God. Tax write-off. Because nothing gives a rich man in the stock market a bigger hard-on than hearing the word charity. Because that's a humongous tax write-off. They can get more money back from the goddamn United States government just by bidding on this car and saying that they did. So they'll get all this money and then some back if they buy the car. They'll get, if they pay $3 million for, I don't know, a fucking old Daytona, a 69 Daytona. Say they pay $3 million for it because they're all driving it up because they don't give a fuck about the charity. They just care about the kickback that they're going to get at the end of the year for getting this car and paying all that money. That's why they do that shit. And then you got people that have these cars that are hidden in places like barns and buildings, and because everything, barn find is overused these days. Because these people find they know they have these cars, and their parents had these cars, and they parked them because they just quit driving them. They just parked them. And then it's like, well, I got a fucking Super Bee. I got a 69 Super Bee in my, my mom's basement sitting. I might want to sell that. And then, it's been sitting for all that time. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of money to get it back on the road. So they want to soak you. Well, I saw it on Barrett Jackson go for $3 million the other day. One just like it. Oh, my God. It's worth, well, you can give me $1 million for it. I'll let you have it. Yeah, bullshit. Fuck you. That's a bunch of shit. This is just, it's insanity. It's fucking crazy shit. And these people, they do this and drives the price up of every fucking thing else. And then next thing you know, the market's out of control for the parts for these fucking cars. I'm so glad I restored mine when I did, because I don't think I could do it again. I'm not young enough. I could probably do it again, but I have kids and a wife and a house and bills, and I don't make that much money. I strip coal and stuff like that, and I just don't make that much money. And these assholes drive the prices of this stuff up, and you would have to take money away from other things to make it happen, or I would, to make it happen again. That's what's taking me so long to fix up the shit that I got. Because Jesus, God, I got fucking that LTD, Grandma. I got that to fix up. I got the Blue Beast in here to fix up. Of course, it ain't going to take a lot, but it's going to take enough. And then I got the old Blue 84 out there, C10. I got it on the road. It's tagged and insured, and I don't even hardly drive it because it needs brake lines. It don't hardly have any brakes. And it needs a front end rebuilt, needs cab corners, rockers. You've heard me say this bullshit before. But the thing is if you want to know why the price is up, it's because they're rich people. Rich people have driven this up. I have seen cars sitting in yards at people's homes with weeds growing up around them, and they either won't part with them and say they're going to fix them up one day for their kid or grandkid or whatever that's shitting in diapers at that time. That kid will never see that car. The next thing you know, you come by a few weeks later and the son of a bitch is gone. Well, some guy offered them a few bucks for it. And they're like, fuck it. Get it out of here. I don't see it anymore. It's like I was 23. I found 270 GTOs, not too far from here. And they had one was sitting in a driveway. And it was just a regular GTO. Nothing special, at least I didn't think so. It was just a GTO, a 70. And then the other one was a 70 Judge. I don't know if it was a clone or what, but it looked original. And it was sitting in another location. And it looked like somebody was trying to fix up and they quit on it. But the other car looked like it sat at this house. And I think this house had mold inside of it or something. And it wasn't, I think it was condemned. I think the people were forced out of it and they just left the car there. And I thought, man, I should check on that stuff and see. But at the time, we just had our son. He was a little baby. He was a preemie. And I was working some shit-ass fucking job at a dealership. Fucking undercoating cars and cleaning cars and renting cars and bullshit like that for goddamn $6 an hour, $5 an hour, something like that. It's some shitty fucking wage. Because, God forbid you'd ever make any fucking money in this fucking place around here. But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't afford it. I moved out of my parents' house 2 years prior to that. And the bills and shit were going up. 9/11 happened. So that jacked the price of gas up and everything at the store jacked up to unbelievable, ridiculous fucking prices. And it just made living life miserable. Because when you're young and you ain't got no goddamn money, and you live 100 feet away from your parents, and you're constantly bumming money off of them to live, sucks. But those cars, they disappeared. I don't know what happened to them. They're gone. But people are such assholes that, especially these rich motherfuckers, they will do anything to get a tax write-off. And they all have offshore bank accounts. They don't have to pay taxes. And most of the time, they're running away from the IRS. A guy like me could never hide in a hole deep enough from the IRS. They wouldn't find me. They would come get me and arrest me and throw me in jail if I didn't pay my taxes. But if some rich douchebag down the road here doesn't pay theirs, it's like, who cares? The working man will pay your fucking taxes. So all this bullshit goes hand in hand. I mean, these people, these rich assholes, they buy these cars and then they put them in their living room and have dinner parties around them. And they sit there with, their fucking martini glasses and with all their asshole friends eating hors d'oeuvres and shit. Oh, look, Jackson. I got a fucking car from Bear Jackson Auction. I paid $3 million for it. Huh? Such a small price. Fucking retarded shit. Dumb. But I was kind of drawn out. But anyway, that's, if you ever wanted to answer that question, that's what the answer is. I just might post this on Facebook on that Chevelle site. They'll probably kick me off there. Because nobody can take an opinion from somebody else today. So, but whatever. Anyhow, it's what is it? I think it's like the 3rd. Something like that. Yeah, it's the 3rd of 2022. The 3rd day. And we're going to find ourselves in quarantine. You can count on that. So anyhow, take care of each other. Respect each other's opinions if you can help it. It's hard for you millennials to do that. Everybody have a good one. Be safe. Like, subscribe, comment. All that bullshit. Later, everybody.